Hello dear students, welcome again. In our previous class, we have started sexual reproduction in flowering plants. Under this, we have told that flowers are reproductive parts of the plant and flowering plants are angiosperms. Angiosperms are producing the flowers for their reproduction. And we have taken two examples to discuss the structure of the flower. Hibiscus and Datura, we have taken the structures of these flowers and we have seen various parts in this. And further, we have seen how the flowering is induced, how the flowering is beginning. We told that hormones are inducing the flowering, and hormones they bring about, these are hormones are chemicals, these are bringing about changes in the structure and physiology. That's how they are initiating the flowering, and these hormones are helping to switch from a vegetative phase to the reproductive phase, and that's how hormones are bringing various changes in the flowers. Once this flowering is beginning, they are forming male and female reproductive parts. Male reproductive part is androecium and female reproductive part is gynoecium, and male reproductive part of this androecium is stamen and female is pistil. And we had started to discuss about the stamen structure, and we have said that stamen is consisting of two parts, the filament and the anther. The filament is long stalk and the anther is structure which is bilobed, having the two lobes, and each lobe is having a long longitudinal groove, a longitudinal groove that is separating this lobe into two theca, and so it is called as dithecus. So anther is bilobed and dithecus. The anther is tetragonal in structure because of these dithecus in each lobe. They are forming a tetragonal structure, and this tetragonal structure is having 4 microsporangia on each side. So the 4 microsporangia are located at the corners, 2 in each lobe. Microsporangia becomes pollen sacs and they are packed with the pollen grains. So how these pollen grains are produced from this anther we are going to study today. So before that, we have to discuss about the microsporangium. So we have told that each anther they are having 4 microsporangium. They are having 4 microsporangia, and these microsporangia are located 2 in each lobe. So starting with the microsporangium, that is a pollen sac, the microsporangia appears nearly circular in outline. If you see here, there is a anther, the transverse section of anther if you see here, and there are tetragonal in structure, and these are 4 microsporangia, 1, 2, 3 and 4. These are the microsporangia. These are located and they are located on each corner, and this microsporangium is nearly circular. They are almost circular. Each microsporangium surrounded by four wall layers, and those are epidermis, endothecium, middle layer, and then tapetum. So epidermis, endothecium, and middle layers. These S here, middle layers. The function of these outer 3 layers are protection and dehiscence of anther to release the pollen grains. So these are the 2 important functions of these 3 layers which are outside. So these outer layers, if you see here, if you take out a portion of this anther, and if you see here, the outer layer is epidermis. This epidermis is followed by endothecium, and endothecium is followed by these middle layers. There are 2 layers, and these 2 layers are middle layers, and then it is followed by innermost layer. The innermost layer is called as tapetum. But the outer layers, these are serving a purpose. They are serving a purpose. They are having a function. The function of these outer 3 layers is to protect the microsporangium which is present inside, and means the microspores which are able, they are going to be produced inside. So these outer layers, they are protecting them. And first thing is protection, and the next one is dehiscence of anther to release the pollen grains. What do you mean by dehiscence? Dehiscence is nothing but it is rupturing or it is breaking open. Once these pollen grains or once these microspores are they are matured enough, what happens is they rupture out for the pollination. So that you can see here, The outer layers, these are epidermis, endothelium, middle layers, and then there is followed by tapetum. We are going to see the importance of tapetum very shortly. And this tapetum is inside it is having the microspores, means microspore producing the cells. Microspore producing cells are called as microspore mother cells that we are going to study. So once it is rupturing, it is how that is how it is looking out. Means when the dehiscence is occurring, when the dehiscence of anther is occurring, this anther is breaking open in this manner. So there is a breaking open, and these microspores are pollen grains. They come out and they go out for the pollination. So this is the function of these outer layers: protection and dehiscence of anther to release the pollen grains. And the tapetum is innermost layer, and which is multinucleated with a dense cytoplasm. Very important to note this, that they are multinucleated and they are having the dense cytoplasm. Multinucleated, when we say multinucleated, each cell they are having more than 2 nuclei, so they are multinucleated. Why they have to be multinucleated? Because they are having the purpose of nourishing those pollen grains. Because they need to produce more food materials, they need more amount of nuclear material. They need more amount of nuclear material to produce more amount of food materials like proteins or any other food materials they need to produce. So they are multinucleated and they are having the dense cytoplasm. So dense cytoplasm, it is indicating that they are having high reserved food materials. They are having high amount of reserved food materials. If you see here, there is a tapetum layer, and this tapetum layer, you can see it is indicated by having the lot of dots in the cell. Those dots are indicating that the cytoplasm is very dense and it is rich with the food materials inside. So the innermost layer, that is tapetum, and this tapetum is multinucleated and it is having the dense cytoplasm. And the function of it is to nourish the developing pollen grain. So nourishment is its function. The center of each microsporangium contain homogeneous cells called as sporogenous tissue. The center of this is the center of the microsporangium, and this center of microsporangium, they are having homogeneous cells, means the cells which they all look similar, they are all appearing similarly. So those cells are homogeneous cells, and those cells are called as sporogenous tissue. The sporogenous tissue is present in the microsporangium, and this sporogenous tissue is capable of producing the spores that we are going to study in our next slide. That is microsporogenesis, means how this microspore is produced in the microsporogenesis that we are going to study. The process of formation of microspore from the pollen mother cell, or that is PMC or MMC. That MMC is nothing but microspore mother cell. How it is produced is through meiosis, is called as microsporogenesis. Once again, the process of formation of microspores from the pollen mother cell through meiosis is called as microsporogenesis. Or you can also say that the process of formation of microspores from the microspore mother cell through meiosis is called as microsporogenesis. So you can say either of these two definitions, you can use them. The product of microsporogenesis is microspore. Microspore is nothing but pollen grain, and this pollen grain is coming out after this microsporogenesis. The sporogenous tissue of the microsporangium. So this is the process that is happening, but from here onwards we are going to study how this process is happening. The sporogenous tissue of microsporangium, it is getting differentiated into microspore mother cell or pollen mother cell. We have told that there are homogeneous cells, those are called as sporogenous tissue, and these sporogenous tissue, they are undergoing differentiation. Differentiation means they are taking up a permanent shape, permanent function of the cell. So they are undergoing differentiation, and this differentiation is leading them to form microspore mother cell, or also called as pollen mother cell. And this microspore mother cell, it undergoes meiosis to give rise to microspore tetrad. Very important step here, that microspore mother cell, that is microspore mother cell, which is a diploid cell, and it is undergoing the meiosis to give rise to haploid microspores, and these microspores are in the tetrad form, means they are together and they are in the tetrad shape. If you see here, this is a microspore mother cell, and each microspore mother cell undergoes meiosis, and meiosis is consisting of two steps, meiosis 1 and 2. After this, it is forming microspore tetrad. Tetrad means there are 4 microspore present within a single cell. Means these spores are they are together, they are collectively in a single form. So they are microspore tetrad. The sporogenous tissue of microsporangium is differentiated to form microspore mother cell, and this microspore mother cell undergoes meiosis to give rise to microspore tetrad. So here very important thing again is, we said that gametogenesis is associated with the meiosis. So the meiosis process is coming here again before formation of the gametes. The gametes are nothing but the microspores. Microspores are the gametes here. Those are nothing but the pollen grains. These microspores are the gametes. In order to form them, they have to undergo meiosis because the plant body is usually diploid. So diploid microspore mother cell is undergoing the meiosis to produce the haploid microspore tetrad. I hope you understood this step. And as the anther matures further, as the anther is getting matured, on dehydration of this microspore tetrad, it gets separated, or it is dissociated to form 4 microspores. The 4 microspores in this tetrad are released out, or they are separating out, and each microspore is producing into a pollen grain. So that's how pollen grain is produced from the microsporangium. So microsporangium, they are having certain sporogenous tissue. Those sporogenous tissue, they are becoming differentiated to form microspore mother cell, and this microspore mother cell undergoes meiosis to form microspore tetrad, and this microspore tetrad on anther one, once it is getting the maturation, it forms the microspore tetrad is breaking down to form the microspores, and these microspores are nothing but the pollen grain. That's how pollen grain is releasing out from the microsporangium. Each microsporangium has several thousands of microspores or pollen grains. They are producing several thousands of pollen grains. So we know there is these plants are producing huge number of pollen grains in order to ensure that pollination is occurring, because there is only one egg, but they need to produce more amount of pollen grains to to ensure the pollination. The pollen grains are released out due to dehiscence of anther. We have told that dehiscence means rupturing out or breaking open. So dehiscence of anther is facilitated by 3 layers that we have already told. That 3 layers, epidermis, endothecium and middle layers, these 3 layers are facilitating the rupturing, the dehiscence of this anther, so that these pollen grains are producing out. Okay, so that's how the pollen grains are released out, and once these are released out, they are ready to go for pollination. So this is a microsporogenesis, and this is up to formation of pollen grain. So in this also, it is again the microspore mother cell undergoes meiosis, and this meiosis forms tetrad, microspore tetrad, and this microspore tetrad is forming into microspore after anther maturation.